Welcome back to our channel, where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. We provide you with the exciting news, Camilla, in tear over William and Catherine's rise, a future arriving faster than planned. In the hushed corridors of Buckingham Palace and throughout the expansive royal estates, a significant transformation is already taking place. In spite of the fact that it has been in existence for hundreds of years, the British royal family is now undergoing one of the most significant transformations in modern history. This story is not about a single significant discovery. Rather, it is about a series of deliberate decisions that have far-reaching consequences and are bringing about a new era of change in the monarchy under the leadership of King Charles III. Many aspects of royal life have been altered as a result of the alterations which were implemented as part of a comprehensive review that was conducted following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Slimmed-down monarchy is transitioning from a concept to a reality at this very moment. The rising of the next generation, the discreet departure of long-serving family members, and a comprehensive examination of charitable gifts are all included in this. Those who are now holding prominent positions in the House of Windsor are the primary individuals responsible for this shift. It has been reported that Queen Camilla is under a great deal of stress as a result of the fact that she has assumed a more prominent role while the king is undergoing treatment for cancer. In light of the fact that their responsibilities in the future are becoming more significant, Prince William and Princess Catherine of Wales are taking on an increasing amount of responsibility. At the same time, those who were devoted to the former administration, such as the esteemed Duke of Kent, are voluntarily stepping down, putting an end to a period of unflinching lifelong devotion. It is not true that these shifts are taking place in a vacuum. The restoration of Buckingham Palace, which involved the breaking of long-held traditions and cost hundreds of millions of pounds, is the most prominent of the enormous physical and financial undertakings that they are placed against. They are set against the backdrop of these projects. The purpose of this period of transition is to bring the crown into the modern era and make it better prepared for the future. Yet it is generating a great deal of worry and anxiety for the key characters in the show. This is the story of a monarchy that is in the process of attempting to strike a balance between duty-tradition and the demands of the 21st century, which never seem to stop. One of the most significant shifts in royal patronage is the Great Reevaluation. It was not a public declaration that provided the first unequivocal proof of the new reign's direction. Rather, it was a quiet and in-depth investigation that provided this evidence. Almost immediately after King Charles III ascended to the throne, the royal household initiated a comprehensive examination of the family's charitable links, presidencies, and patronages all over the world. Not only was this not a simple administrative task, but it also included a comprehensive remapping of the vast network of links that the crown had, which was something that hadn't been done in decades. The primary objective of the study was to ensure that the public projects undertaken by the royal family were in accordance with the objectives of the new reign, and the fact that there are fewer royals who are now employed. The network of patronages has grown to include more than 1,000 different entities that fall under the jurisdiction of Queen Elizabeth II. However, despite the fact that it demonstrated how strong she was and how committed she was to her duty, it was also a legacy that could not be maintained. At the outset, the palace made it quite clear that a significant number of the responsibilities that had been held by the late Queen and Prince Philip would not simply be transferred to the new owners. Every connection would be scrutinized in great detail. The evaluation was carried out in a stealthy manner over the course of many months, but when the findings were made public, they startled and saddened a great number of individuals working in the non-profit sector. One of the first major pieces of news was that a significant number of customers would be leaving their employment. According to the palace, this was a realistic technique to ensure that the family's profession was attainable and had a significant impact on the workplace. The hundreds of organizations that had been used to the prestige and attention that comes with a royal tie, on the other hand, were dealt a significant blow by this breaking news. A significant number of individuals had incorporated their royal connection into their identity and the manner in which they solicited funds. It was said in the statement issued by the palace that it was not possible to maintain every link and that a strategic decrease was required in order to direct energy where it mattered the most. This statement recognized how difficult the decision was. One of the first obvious indications that Charles III's rule would be centered on pragmatism rather than conserving traditions for their own sake was this decision, which was portrayed as a concentration of resources. This action was one of the earliest indications that this would be the case. Not long after that, exhaustive lists and press releases were sent, which detailed the specific organizations that would continue to receive their royal sponsorship, those that would get a new one, and those that would completely lose their connection to the royal family. This was a moment of truth for businesses that had been waiting in a state of uncertainty for quite some time. Those individuals who still had a connection to the royal family obviously had a sense of relief. A great number of individuals, particularly those who had held a royal charter for more than 100 years, expressed a great deal of dissatisfaction with the decision. The status of Queen Camilla was elevated significantly as a consequence of this rearrangement, which is one of the most significant things that took place with this change. In addition to the extensive list of obligations that she previously had, she was also the new patron of around 15 different organizations. These newly formed relationships were selected with great care to ensure that they were compatible with her long-standing interests, which include nursing, reading, and volunteering. Not only was Camilla able to expand on the work that she had previously accomplished, but she was also able to deliberately increase her power via this. In her role as Duchess of Cornwall, she exerted a great deal of effort to establish a reputation as someone who encouraged reading and assisted those who had been subjected to domestic violence. Due to the fact that she was now the queen, her duties increased, which demonstrated that the organization had faith in her and established her as a permanent component of the system. The public presentation of this growth made it clear that she was not only filling empty jobs, but also building on years of work she had already done. Charities that got or kept her business were eager to thank her. Shelterbox, a group that helps people after disasters, said she will still be their patron. The Queen's Nursing Institute also thanked her, pointing out how important it is for her to keep supporting the nursing profession. These endorsements showed that the evaluation was a process of both selling off assets and buying new ones. At the same time, another announcement made the generational change even more clear. The Duke of Kent, who was the late Queen's first cousin and one of the longest-serving working royals, started the process of giving up his military positions. He had been Colonel of the Scots Guards for 50 years, thus his decision to stand down was a very moving sign of the changing of the guard. His lengthy and loyal service, which included many parades and regimental festivities, was coming to an end since he was becoming older. This was part of a larger trend among senior royals to slowly cut down on their public obligations. This allowed the monarchy to focus its efforts on a smaller core group of working members. The weight of the crown on Queen Camilla. During a time of trial, the Patronage Review made Queen Camilla's position in the institution stronger, but it also came at a time of great emotional and public stress. She had a lot of work to do even before the recent developments. She had a title and a busy schedule. As soon as she became Queen Consort, her schedule was full with official activities that never stopped. But now that King Charles is getting treatment for cancer and cutting back on his public appearances, the pressure on her has grown a lot. This has meant lengthy days spent going from one event to another, many of which require a lot of travel standing for hours, and the continual social demands of meeting dignitaries, charity workers, and the public. At 76 years old, this kind of hard work is not only hard on her body, but it also puts her health and safety in danger. In the last several months, indicators of this strain have become clear. The fact that she couldn't go to the Royal Variety performance because she was sick got a lot of media attention. If there were more working royals, this absence would not have been noted as much. But in today's smaller monarchy, every cancellation stands out more and makes people guess. People are talking more about whether she can keep up her present pace since she has missed other events, including a memorial ceremony for King Constantine of Greece. The royal finances are always being looked at, which makes this strain much worse. The sovereign grant, which is the public budget that pays for the royal household, has grown in recent years. Most of the money has gone to the huge refurbishment of Buckingham Palace. This spending is hard for a lot of people who are having trouble making ends meet to understand. As Queen Camilla is an important part of this system, and is frequently the center of the heated argument over whether the monarchy is worth the money it costs. When she cancels an event, or is seen as taking on less public work, critics quickly compare this to the royal family's escalating expenses and ask whether the country is getting its money's worth. Even though she doesn't have direct power over budget choices, she is an easy target for anti-monarchist sentiment since she is a well-known face of the institution. People are especially likely to think you're slowing down. Queen Elizabeth II worked hard to build an image of devotion for 7 decades, seldom canceling commitments even when she was in her 90s. This strong legacy leaves a big mark. Queen Camilla's periodic breakdowns, which are completely normal for a lady her age who is under a lot of stress, are often contrasted to her late mother-in-law's amazing record of being consistent. When she steps back, some people in the press and public see it as a sign of decline, not as a smart move. This adds to the story of an elderly and vulnerable monarchy. Her job is considerably more complicated behind the scenes. She is not only doing her constitutional and ceremonial obligations, but she is also the main person who is helping her husband through his cancer treatment. Being both a queen and a caregiver is really hard on her emotionally and physically. In this high-pressure setting, even little mistakes or modifications to her diaries might make news, and many are doubting her capacity to handle it. The persistent worry of being judged may in and of itself become a self-fulfilling prophecy. There have also been problems with her charitable activities that are beyond her control, yet nevertheless affect her patronage. One of her charities, Prospect Hospice, had to shut a few of its charity shops lately because it was having trouble with money. No one royal sponsor can ensure a charity's financial health, but these kinds of incidents may make people doubt how useful royal assistance really is, which makes them wonder what real advantages her support brings. Also, people pay close attention to Queen Camilla's health. Media sources have rapidly spread information about prior chest ailments or times when he was unsteady during public occasions. People frequently look at and repeat these short moments, which gives the sense that they are fragile, although this may not be the whole truth. This story is made stronger by comparing it to both the late Queen and the younger, more lively Prince and Princess of Wales. The difference in age and vitality between them is quite clear, which makes some people see her rule as a temporary one, a way to get the next generation ready to take over. This view, whether it's right or wrong, makes her power a little weaker and makes her seem more like a caretaker than a key part of the new rule. The Duke of Kent, a royal fade, and the end of an era. The slow exit of Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, from public life is a subtle but strong example of how the monarchy is changing with the times. The Duke was one of the hardest-working members of the royal family for many years, even if he didn't show it. He was Queen Elizabeth II's first cousin, and was always there for important state events. However, he mostly spent his life away from the tabloid press, showing what it means to do your job without drawing attention to yourself. It was becoming increasingly clear in recent times that his long and faithful service was coming to an end. At the age of 88 in April 2024, the Duke stepped down as Colonel of the Scots Guards, a job he had held with great satisfaction for 50 years. He had been the ceremonial leader of this famous regiment for 50 years. Every year on Black Sunday, when guardsmen honor their lost friends, he would take the salute. He and the regiment both knew that stepping down from such an important and long-held position meant the end of an era. After this, he retired in November 2023 as president of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, a job he had done well for nearly 50 years, which linked his name to remembering troops who had died throughout the world. Prince Edward was born in 1935 to Prince George, Duke of Kent, and Princess Marina of Greece and Denmark. He was a member of the royal family. His family tree linked him to the British throne and to the royal families of Europe. The horror of war changed his youth forever. His father died in a military plane disaster when he was on active duty with the Royal Air Force in 1942. Edward became the Duke when he was only 6 years old. This was a big duty for him to bear, and he didn't really understand how weighty it was until much later. This early tragedy linked him eternally to the royal family's wartime generation, which was known for its sense of duty and sacrifice. The Duke followed a course that was common for royal men of his period and joined the military. He went to the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, and then joined the British Army. He served in the Royal Scots Greys for more than 20 years. He worked his way up to lieutenant colonel before leaving the military. His military history gave him the authority and expertise that shaped much of his later ceremonial life, especially his work with regiments and veterans groups. He married Catherine Worsley in 1961, and she became the Duchess of Kent. They have 3 kids together. Later, the Duchess made her own way, pulling back from many official obligations, and in a very rare move for a senior royal, accepting a position as a music teacher at a primary school. This option gave their family a level of seclusion and normality that other royal families didn't have. The Duke, on the other hand, kept up a busy schedule of public responsibilities. Over the years, he became the patron or president of more than 140 groups. He was interested in a lot of things, including science and technology, music, and business. However, his most important duties were generally related to service and tradition. For more than 50 years, he was the Grand Master of the United Grand Lodge of England, which is the highest position in Freemasonry in the nation. He was also the president of the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club for more than 50 years. He was famed for giving the trophies to the winners at Wimbledon. His strong bond with Queen Elizabeth II was a big part of his royal existence. He was often seen with her on the balcony of Buckingham Palace during occasions like Trooping the Colour. The Duke took the Queen out onto the balcony when Prince Philip died. This was a touching image of his unwavering support throughout their lives. It was a tipping point when she died in 2022. King Charles III took over and wanted to make the monarchy more efficient. Because of this, the Duke's function inevitably became less important as he became older. His retirement from his main jobs in 2023 and 2024 was the inevitable end of this change. It was a gracious exit from the public stage that paralleled the larger strategic transformation inside the organization. The Duke of Kent is still alive today, and his life spans the reigns of 3 kings. He is an example of a kind of quiet, steady devotion that is becoming less common. As the Waleses rose to prominence, a future that arrived sooner than anybody had anticipated. More attention is being paid to the newly crowned Prince and Princess of Wales as the more senior members of the royal family move aside. Not only did the ascension of King Charles III to the throne represent a step up in the line of succession for Prince William and Catherine, but it also represented a rapid and significant increase in the tasks and responsibilities that they were responsible for. After becoming the direct heir to the throne, William was given the title of Duke of Cornwall, which he had previously held. It was more than simply a symbolic act. It included assuming control of the Duchy of Cornwall, which is a massive and sophisticated private estate that encompasses more than 130,000 acres of land buildings and assets. Furthermore, this decision was more than just symbolic. In addition to providing the heir with an independent income, the duchy is worth more than £1 billion, which enables him to pay for his public, private, and charitable activity. Managing this portfolio is similar to receiving training on the job for the responsibilities that would be required of a future king. Making decisions that have an impact on communities' farming and conservation efforts throughout the whole of Britain is a part of it. This level of transition was equally crucial for Catherine. She received the designation of Princess of Wales, a title that remains closely linked to her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana. She was promoted to this post. This not only garnered her heightened attention, but also afforded her a robust platform. Her public itinerary grew more congested, and she emerged as an increasingly prominent presence at state-sponsored events. Through her sustained initiative, the Shaping Us campaign aimed at enhancing awareness of the significance of early childhood development, she has adeptly managed her increasing public prominence. This campaign aims to raise awareness on the significance of early childhood development. Her efforts have allowed her to create a unique and recognized policy sector, elevating her stature from that of a royal consort to a competent and prominent advocate in her own right. The scrutiny directed against William and Catherine has intensified due to many people departing from the royal front line. Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, vacated their roles as working royals in 2020, resulting in a substantial vacancy. The pair was expected to aid with several royal duties. Nonetheless, their absence generated considerable concern among other royal family members, especially William and Catherine. Relative to their age, they emerged as the principal representatives of the monarchy, thereby enhancing their visibility and responsibility to fill the void. Subsequent to the demise of Prince Philip in 2021 and Queen Elizabeth II in 2022, this pattern became further evident. After the death of the two oldest family members who had the most pertinent experience, William and Catherine undertook a larger portion of the ceremonial and diplomatic duties. Despite being the Prince of Wales, William's position as a statesman-in-waiting has grown increasingly prominent throughout the years. The United Kingdom is progressively emerging as a prominent representative on the global stage. He is engaging with foreign leaders and doing diplomatic missions, both of which are vital for the United Kingdom's connections with other countries post-Brexit. Furthermore, they have the responsibility of raising their three children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, under the scrutiny of the global public, which constitutes a very demanding vocation. They tried to provide them a childhood that was as conventional as possible, while yet imparting knowledge about the obligations associated with citizenship. Prince George, now second in line for the throne, has previously engaged in notable national events, including his grandfather's coronation, which was a carefully orchestrated initiative to prepare him for future responsibilities. King Charles's worldview is most clearly shown via this particular emphasis on the Waleses. The current transition aims to set the stage for their future rule, guaranteeing a smooth and untroubled transfer of power when the time comes. They represent the future, and the ongoing change is now occurring. They have more responsibility for the institution's destiny than ever before. The choices taken today will significantly affect the House of Windsor for years to come. These choices include the strategic assessment of patronages and the retirement of senior members. In a society that often scrutinizes the validity of inherited privilege, A monarchy is deliberately evolving to affirm its ongoing relevance. Throughout the voyage, several hurdles must be surmounted, including public expectations, financial obligations, and the burden of duty. The success of this transfer will ascertain the Crown's capacity to function as a symbol of unity and continuity for a country and a commonwealth in perpetual evolution. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.